Vietnam closes 86 million bank accounts as they submit to the OECD power grab. Hey everyone, Johnny here, Don't Speak News. Well, this is news that you may not hear about today because I'm sure the Western media probably isn't going to cover it. But Vietnam just closed 86 million bank accounts as they are submitting to this OECD power grab. And what is the OECD? Well, they call it the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. They say it's a forum for a knowledge hub for data analysis and best practices in public policy. They say we work with over 100 countries across the world to build stronger, fairer, and cleaner societies. Yes, in other words, you'll own nothing and be happy, helping to shape better policies for better lives. Right. Anyway, it's part of the World Economic Forum, and it's part of their power grab. And it's going to start with all the foreigners, expats as they're called here, expatriates. So think of expats from the US and other countries going into Vietnam to do business and to do banking and so on. And now all of a sudden you come to the country and you find out your bank account's closed and your visa's all tangled up because foreigners are going to have to submit to giving their biometric data. And of course, they're promising them convenience, but delivering a web of surveillance. That's what it's all about, control, just like it is here. And so I got a video here from attorney Ken Duong as he breaks it all down and the hidden forces that are behind the OECD, how this impacts ordinary citizens, and what you need to know if you follow Vietnam news closely. And like he says, this is coming to the West next. We are next. In fact, Thailand is already doing it over there as well. Thailand's tightening their rules for expats and so on. And then, of course, we had the Spain-Portugal blackout earlier this year that turned payments into chaos. And like he says here, when power dies, a cashless system stops. Are we building fragility into the core? Yes, they are. And I've always said that about digital money, Bitcoin and the others. Everybody, oh, Johnny, you got to get into Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. They've been telling me that for over a decade. And while there's been great return on it, what happens when they shut it off? What happens when the power goes out? As we just saw in Spain and Portugal. They couldn't do anything. You couldn't get money anywhere. You were just shut out, period. So that's what happens when the power goes out, or if the internet decides to take a dump, or they decide to switch it off. Then what? Well, then they'll turn the power back on and go, oh, look, your account's reset to zero. Isn't that nice? Oh, you had 8 million in there? Well, it's not there anymore. Just saying, guys. Just saying, because the Great Reset's all about owning nothing and you'll be happy. That's what the whole reset's all about. They want to own everything. You'll own nothing. You'll just rent everything throughout your entire life. And don't think it isn't coming here. We talked about it about a month and a half ago, or 2 months ago now. Trump's Genius Act CBDC will allow government to punish whoever they want to. But we could just throw, vaccine mandate refusers. Make it freeze your bank account with this type of money. And that's what the plan is. And there's rumors that it's going to begin in October of this year, 2025, so next month. So all kinds of information on that here. I'll put the link up in case you missed this story. But the Genius Act would create a digital dollar called the stablecoin, which would likely eventually replace all cash and would enable governments to freeze the accounts of anyone declared in violation of what they consider lawful or state executive branch regulations, such as the vaccine mandates passed down in 2021 by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So Trump's doing the opposite of what he pledged during his election campaign, where he said he would ban CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, but stablecoins are in every important respect CBDCs. I'll put this link up in case you haven't seen this one. So, yeah, Trump said no delays, get it to his desk ASAP, right? And they did. They did with very little protest from anyone. And there you go. Digital money closing in all around the world right now as I'm speaking to you. And then we have this chaos going on. It was earlier today, and it's been confirmed, explosions rocked the capital of Qatar, and it was an Israeli attack on the Hamas peace delegation that was there to talk about a ceasefire with Israel. That's why there isn't going to be one, guys. They're trying to assassinate the actual peacemakers, is what we're seeing here now. So explosions have been seen and heard in Qatar's capital, Doha. Smoke is seen rising over a significant area, similar to the type and size of smoke seen after an airstrike. Has Israel attacked Qatar? Yes, they have. Word is pouring out of the capital city in Doha, the country of Qatar, making claims of a double cross. According to sources in Doha, the entire political bureau of Hamas was called to a meeting in Doha to agree to President Donald Trump's latest peace proposal to settle the troubles in Gaza. When the meeting convened, the sources say Israel attacked the meeting, and it appears Israeli fighter jets flew in Qatar airspace and bombed the capital city. It is believed that many, if not all, of the Hamas political bureau are dead. In fact, they are not. But it was confirmed that this was an Israeli attack on the capital city of Qatar. Israel has now openly admitted it, and they called it Operation Summit of Fire. And in fact, even though this article will go on to deny it, it appears that the United States was well involved. Let's take a look here at some of the things I've gathered on Telegram in regards to this attack. Here we go. We got more news to go besides that, but Hamas says Israel tried to assassinate its negotiating team in Doha, calling it a heinous crime and violation of Qatar's sovereignty. The group says the delegation survived. 5 aides were killed along with a Qatari officer and blames Netanyahu and the U.S. And of course, right here, Israel state media, Khan, reports that the operation was carried out with the help of an American intelligence. Well, they've got a huge, huge base in Qatar with all kinds of air defenses that could have taken out these Israeli jets, and they didn't. And there was no warning. So they had to have the help of the Americans. There's no other way around it. Hebrew media reports that Hamas leaders in Qatar were targeted during a meeting to discuss the latest American proposal for a ceasefire. And there you go. And here's some more stuff we have going on today. We'll get back to that in a minute. But wow. Let's kill off the peace delegations. I mean, why have the negotiations in the first place? This is getting ridiculous. So once again, Israel bombs peace negotiation and has done so in someone else's country. Worse, the United States knew about the attack, gave a green light, and also reportedly provided real-time intelligence to make certain all the people Israel wanted to kill had arrived at the location to be bombed. Here's a statement by the Hamas movement. And they say the treacherous attempt by the Zionist occupation to assassinate the Hamas delegation negotiating in the Qatari capital, Doha, today is a heinous crime and a blatant aggression and a clear violation of all norms and international laws. And that's what they do. I'll let you read the rest for yourselves, including a list of the dead here. And it's quite a lengthy statement. But they're saying now from the White House at 2:52 p.m. Eastern, a couple hours ago, that Caroline Leavitt just revealed that President Trump did not pre-approve of the strikes against Qatar by Israel. They say that unilaterally bombing an ally of the United States, working hard and taking risks to broker peace, does not advance Israel or America's goals. However, eliminating Hamas, who have profited off the money of those living in Gaza, is a worthy goal. The president feels very badly about the location of this attack. And so they're saying it's great that they killed some Hamas people, but it wasn't great because of where the Hamas people were located in Qatar. Unreal. They knew, you guys. Like I said, the U.S. has a huge base there. There's no way they couldn't have known. There's absolutely no way. And there's rumors that they actually helped refuel the Israeli planes so they could get home safely. So, just saying. Wow. And then we have some political turmoils in the UK, France, Japan, and Thailand to go along with all the other chaos. In Japan, the prime minister has resigned. In France, the government has collapsed, and the French prime minister is to resign today, Tuesday. In the UK, the prime minister has reshuffled the cabinet. And in Thailand, their prime minister was removed from office over some leaked phone call scandal. So that's the turmoil going on in the world, around the world right now. And that's just some of it. Here's some more on the French prime minister. He loses confidence vote and has triggered a collapse of the government. Prime Minister Francois Bayrou has been ousted, leaving President Macron scrambling again for a path through France's economic turmoil. So French Prime Minister Francois Bayrou lost a confidence vote on September 8th, deepening a political and economic impasse in the Eurozone's second largest economy after opposition leaders from across the political spectrum pledged to oust him. The minority government collapse looks set to deepen France's problems, leaving President Macron with the task of finding yet another politician to steer a controversial budget through the parliament. I was actually going to show some video from France from earlier today, but I can't find it now. But anyway, the government lost the confidence vote by 194 votes to 364. Macron's centrist party Renaissance, it heads a fragile minority coalition that relied on allies such as Bayreuth's democratic movement to govern, and now they don't have any more. So they don't have that power. The government is now being dissolved. Where it goes from here is anybody's guess. Wow. And of course, in Nepal, things are way out of control there. I've seen the video I've seen from there is quite horrifying, with murder and mayhem going on in the streets there, including, I think it was the finance minister and his wife were assaulted, and his wife was actually killed. So horrible videos coming out of Nepal as well, as the world is descending further and further into chaos. It seems like no matter where I look. So I will keep my eyes on everything as much as I possibly can. And last but not least, I saw this particular story pop up on the Epic Times today. It came in my email. U.S. job growth was overstated by 911,000 in 12 months ending March 2025. Look at that, 911 again. Kind of a strange number to bring up for jobs, isn't it? But there it is. Downward revisions in the private sector total 880,000. And what have we been saying, particularly during the Biden years? That all of the economic numbers they were putting out there were absolutely fake. Even they kept talking about job growth, and yet out in the streets, people I talked to in the streets are telling me that it was horrible out there, and still is, and getting worse. And yet they kept gaslighting everybody and saying the economy was great. It was growing by whatever percent, and we had all this job growth. Well, now we can see, just as we talked about, for the last 4 years, prior to 2025 anyway, we talked about how there was no real job growth and all the numbers they were putting out there were fake. And sure enough, we were correct. Wow. Lies, lies, lies everywhere you look. Gaslighting, lies, it's everywhere. And that'll be it for this episode. Don't forget, don'tspeaknews.com, home base for all that we do. I put a lot of stories here that we can't speak about anywhere else, including stuff like this one here. Stuff like this one here. Just things that YouTube would never permit. In fact, we had tons of videos taken down from there. A lot of the Mark of the Beast videos that I no longer have because they were on YouTube and YouTube only at the time. I wasn't backing everything up like I do now. Boy, I learned a hard lesson there. But anyway, got over 2,700 stories here on the website now, don'tspeaknews.com. And without you guys, we couldn't stick around. So if you'd like to support us, we're listener supported only. You can click on the channel support tab here. And all the links to support us are right here. And I've got good news on the support subject of support. The PayPal account has been unfrozen. The money is now, the $40 that was stuck there is now in my account. And so thank you for all the prayers and helping me get that all handled. In fact, I had some correspondence with PayPal over the last several days. They were very pleasant, surprisingly, and we got it all worked out. And I had to tweak a couple things on my end, and now it's all fixed. And so thank you very much for your prayers, and thank you very much for all of your support. Like I said many times, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. And so Rumble, BitChute, and Telegram, all the places to find us around the interwebs are right here under this tab. Over here on YouTube, Telegram, Substack, BitChute, and Rumble. I'm not going on Instagram, Twitter, and all that anymore because we just keep getting kicked off, so it doesn't make any sense. And that will be it for now. I'll keep my eyes on everything as much as possible. God bless, take care. Johnny Storm, Don't Speak News.